Okay, my friends, coming at you again. It is late night. Thinking about evil and how it has no constraints. So, had a good conversation with our local sheriff, talking about all these different ideas of groups coming in and causing problems, gangs, and maybe sleeper cells and things like that. And one of the things he mentioned, and it's so true, is the good guys always have to play by the rules. The sheriff's hands are tied. He has to obey all the laws. He can't just, willy nilly go in there and bust down the door and search and seize and figure out what the hell they're doing and that. He has to respond and react. He can't be so much proactive because it's just not there. He was talking about, groups training, um, foreign groups training in our local area out in the forest and stuff, and how they were training. And I made the comment, they have the advantage because number one, they don't have to play by the rules. So in other words, they can use any kind of weapon they want. They can use any kind of devices they want. They can have grenades, they can have fully automatic rifles, they can have anything they want and hide it and just break the law. They don't care. They don't care about the law. They're not constrained by the law. They're not constrained by all this. But us good, law abiding, patriot Americans are scrutinized and held tight to the law. Oh, you can't have this on your weapon, or you can't have that, or it can't shoot like this, or it can't shoot like that. And no, Lord, no, the public, the good people can't have these weapons that can really, do some damage. That's just off the limits. That's only for the cartels and for the gangs and for the sleeper cells. They can have all that, but the good people dare not have it. So we talked about that. He said, his hands are tied until society fails, and when society fails completely, then you know the gloves come off, constraints come off, our hands are broken loose. We can have all the weapons, the type of weapons that we really need. The problem is we can't stockpile that now. We can't get that ready now. We can't purchase that now. We can't even talk about that now. You ever notice that? How all the different agencies are leaning on the people so hard, and oh boy, you don't even talk like that. But yet they're allowing all these thousands and thousands, or actually I'm hearing it's in the millions of people coming across and allowing them to buy weapons and arming up and allowing them to get out and train. They know they have satellites and stuff. They could watch all this, but they're not worried about that. They're worried about watching Granny, you know, waving a Trump flag. Because they're not caring about your safety. They're caring about their power. There's a difference there, see? So that leads me to the next thing in this discussion. I was an Army helicopter pilot, little Apaches like this one back here, A models in the 90s. And, I saluted flag, followed the orders, did everything that I was told to do. And I always felt a little bad. And I know it's probably not good to have any feelings whatsoever. And I actually didn't have any feelings at the time. But when I got home and started thinking about it, the guy that was in that tank downrange, he was just saluting his flag, following his commander, and doing what he thought was honorable for his country. He wasn't a criminal, or I don't think he probably wasn't. He was in their military. He probably wasn't a rapist. He probably wasn't He probably wasn't anything, bad. He probably wasn't an evil person even. He might even been, a devout Christian. We don't know what he was, but we just know that he was on the other side and I was on this side, and my job was to delete him and his job was to delete me. And the leaders, why ever they decide to send us, they sit back in their little cozy office. They go home every night to their family. They drink their drinks and smoke their big cigars and make millions of dollars while we live in the desert eating trash, getting exposed to everything, which is destroying our bodies, away from our families, which causes divorces, and our children suffer and suffer and suffer. And the cycle just continues. I mean, the same thing for, Vietnam, Korea. I mean, all the way through. All the different wars has been the same. The leaders sit back, they lose nothing. They bleed not. They suffer not. They get rich. And what do the everyday average person get? Screwed. We get diseases. We get injuries that last the rest of our lives. We lose family members, wives. Our children are raised by other people. They'll pin a medal on our chest and say, "You did a great thing for your country." But did we? Did we do a great thing for our country? Or did we just do something for those fat bastards that got fatter off of us? And now that we all are sick and having all issues, and they're still in power. They've been there for 40 years. And they can determine if we get any more help or any more, maybe a couple more types of medication or some treatment for our illnesses. And maybe they'll throw us some more crumbs for our wives through the VA and things like that to have some type of something, Yeah. So, evil. Talking about evil, right? Talking about evil. Talking about evil people. There's a difference between a soldier on the battlefield that you're fighting and the one that's breaking into your house to steal your shit, rape your wife, and kill your kids. Now, some battles are different, of course. I will say that. There are some countries that are facing their boundaries being, their population being raped, pillaged, and plundered. And when that happens, then yeah, I fully understand. But when a leader just sits there and decides that, hey, I think, we're gonna frame this thing up, we're gonna attack this country because we need this particular field, or we need this particular land, or my son needs a job on their board, or I want to launder more money through this particular country or whatever. If people are going to war and dying for those reasons, then the bastard that's sending you is evil. He's no different than the guy breaking into your house to rape, pillage, and plunder. He's the same. And for you to follow an unlawful order, yeah. But I guess that's why they send young people, because young people are more willing to, they're wanting some action, they're wanting some adventure. And that offers all that, and we will sell our youth. We will sell our families and everything else just to be part of something, greater than ourselves in many ways. I mean, I did. The Army was first. I never would have made it to be Apache pilot if I wasn't 1,000,000% dedicated. And the Army was first. Family, if they wanted you to have a family, they would have issued you one. That's just a pure luxury. Your children, they don't give a shit. Send them home, whatever they got to do. They don't care about children. They don't care that you see your children. They don't care if your children gets to hear their father. That's nothing for them. They just want to know that you're saluting the commander and doing what he says. So that's a hard one for me. I've struggled with this for years because I went through a divorce during my deployment. I got injured. I got exposed to sarin gas, sarin agent, not really gas. Just a lot of crazy shit happened through the years. And I fought with the VA, and I fought with ex-wives, and I fought with the idea of being a military pilot, but then come home and not qualified to fly for a fucking game commission. You're not qualified. My ass. So anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff, just the basic shit that all soldiers face, man. I mean, we are the pawns on the damn chessboard. Maybe a few of us get to be the rooks or the horsemen or whatever in the hell, but it's all about making them rich. And leaders don't fight, they send everyone else to fight. It'd be a much different show if they led from the front and they took up a fucking arm and went out there and went down range on them. Be a lot less wars, I promise you. I promise you that. If you had Biden and Putin squaring off, yeah. Well, first of all, we would lose quick, but they send the young people. They send our children. Their children don't go. Our children goes. So anyway, we fight for the leaders' goals. I call them leaders. They're not leaders. They're cowards. They send other people to fight. Cowards send other people to fight. Leaders go and fight, and then you see them fighting, and everybody else joins in. That's the difference. Yeah. That's how that works. So anyway, as we approach World War III, and we're all getting ready, and they're chomping at the bit, man. They're putting Russia in a corner, and Russia's putting Ukraine in the corner, and people are going across Israel's border and raping and pillaging and plundering, and Israel is friggin' leveling countries, and and everything's it's on the tipping point, and it's all about to go sideways, and I hate war, man. I mean, I've done it. We're good at it. We can destroy villages and cities and all that stuff, and we're shooters and we're warriors, and we train on this channel about nothing but warrior. But there's a difference between fighting evil and just fighting for evil. So think about that. And these politicians, some of them are evil, man. So look at them. Look at them. Pray about it. Ask for discernment. If you got to fight, then fight all the way. But one thing I don't like is I don't like fighting with any kind of fucking rules. Because rules don't do anything but put limits on you. If we're going to fight, I'm fighting to win. Whatever that means. If that means bombing the hospital, the school, or whatever in the hell we're bombing, then we're leveling the whole damn city. You shouldn't have fucked with us if you didn't want to have your whole country leveled. So, same way the politicians, though, I would encourage them to pick up a rifle, lead from the front. Don't be a pussy and sit inside of a bunker. Man that fucking aircraft. Get in that tank. Grab that rifle. Have your crack smoking son on the front line. Then make decisions off of that one. Leave your wife for a year at a time. Yeah. Sustain some injury and then go back to the VA, and you use the VA. All you politicians, use the VA. Don't go get your little perfect doctor and stuff. You use the VA. Whatever you set for us, you use. That'll make you a much better leader, you know. I like leaders that have been in combat because I know they won't be so stupid to make stupid decisions and idiotic decisions. I like leaders that stand in the front and lead, not in the back and push you into it. So, I know this has been a little bit of a rant, but hey, I love you guys because I know there's a lot of warriors out there that's been listening to this, and I know that a lot of warriors out there are suffering, and I know a lot of warriors out there that's ending their own lives, and that is friggin' tragic because you're good people, man. You mean something. You mean so much more than a fucking politician does. Those worms, those dredges of society are nothing compared to you. You warriors are so special. You soldiers are so special. And I know your wives have left. I know someone else probably raised your children. I know you probably have drinking problems. I know you probably can't sleep at night. I know you're having all these friggin' issues. But you know what? You're special. And you're better than they are. Don't let them stand over your grave. Piss on theirs. Go out and make yourself, your space, your family, your life, and your fellow warrior better.